presentation, a couple of phrases jump into my mind. Money answered all things. And then I remember reading a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a general theme running through that book in terms of what they tell their children about money. So, what's money? And what is finance? There are many persons today who use that term interchangeably. Often, someone could be heard saying, I have no money, or I lack the finance to buy that house, that car, start that business, to pay tuition fees or examination fees and such like. From a layman's perspective, clearly the two are similar. From an accounting, finance, and economic perspective, while they appear similar, they're not, but they are certainly linked together. Consequently, the intent of this presentation is to provide you an overview of the fields of money and finance by bringing clarity to the meanings of these two things. And then at the end, I will try to bring it together. Because if you have this information, then so what are you intending to do with it? And so here it is. So what is money? I can hear the standard response that is given by a student in my first year business finance class. The first thing they say, it's a medium of exchange, of course. I can hear myself saying, great, good response. But do you know that there are theories of money? And then I can see myself looking at their expressions. And I see some interest there. And then there are others who you can clearly see are saying, who doesn't know what money is? I trust that you are the former and are keenly interested in hearing about the theories of money. There are two theories of money. We have the commodity theory of money, which is money as a medium of exchange and the natural result of market activity. The commodity itself could be exchanged for another, and it has value in itself, and it also has value because of its use. Things like gold and silver and copper, they have intrinsic value, and they are also of value, as we can use them for money. Then you're probably thinking, okay, so where does banknotes and coins fit in? Well, there's a term that we use for that. We say it's fiat money, because they have no intrinsic value in themselves, but they are used as a unit of exchange. The world has seen several shifts when it comes to the forms that are used as medium of exchanges. We have moved from barter, many of you are familiar with that, where we exchange one commodity for the other. There was the sheep for the goat and the cow for the pig, right? And we have come to a place today where we're hearing about cryptocurrencies. Linked to a popular phrase you hear, Bitcoin. Well, these are just electronic cash. And unlike banknotes and coins, Bitcoins do not have a central bank, but is sent from user to user over a peer-to-peer network. Then we have the credit theory of money. It's also known as the debt theory of money. In his 1914, explains the credit theory of money in this way. The credit theory is this, that a sale and purchase is exchanged for a commodity for credit. From this main theory springs a sub-theory that the value of credit or money does not depend on the value of any metal or metals, but on the right which the creditor acquires to payment. That is to say, to satisfaction for the credit, and on the obligation of the debtor to pay his debt, and conversely, on the right of the debtor to release himself from his debt by the tender of an equivalent debt owed by the creditor, and the obligation of the creditor to accept this tender in satisfaction of his credit. So this brings me to what is finance? Finance is a broad term which describes two related activities: the study of how money is managed and the actual process of acquiring needed funds. It's defined in different ways by different people. In a general sense, you will hear persons say finance is the management of money and other valuables which can be easily converted to cash. Experts will tell you finance is a simple task of providing necessary funds required by the business entities like companies, firms, individuals, and others on terms that are most favorable to achieve their economic objectives. Entrepreneurs will tell you finance is concerned with cash. It is so since every business transaction involves cash directly or indirectly. Academics will tell you finance is the procurement of funds and effective utilization of funds. It also deals with profits that adequately compensate for the costs and risks borne by the business. So here's the thing. We need to bring these two concepts together. Every one of us at some point in time, we need money. We need money for different things.
All the time.
Definitely. And so there is personal finance, and one might think, okay, I have money, and then so it's okay. But let me tell you something about finance and personal finance. It's an activity that largely depends on one's earning, living requirements, goals, and desires. Personal finance includes some of the things I mentioned earlier that persons would like to purchase, like a house and a car, but it also could refer to insurance, mortgages, and various types of investments. Then there's corporate finance, which consists of the financial activities related to running a corporation, usually with a division and department set up to oversee the financial transactions. And then there is public finance. Earlier we heard about the government and taxes, and that is how they get their money. And so when we talk about public finance, we're talking about taxes and spending and budgeting and debt and the issuance of policies and the like. Now, I would said to you earlier that finance is concerned with acquiring money and the process of doing so. But it is also concerned with the efficient utilization of that money, as well as the maximization of shareholders' wealth. So if you're a corporate person and you would have been selling shares to the public, then your shareholders will be looking to you to maximize their wealth. Not maximize their money, mark you, because for a shareholder, it is the return on their investment that is very, very important. Now we can't talk about finance and corporate financing without me telling you about money markets and capital markets. Now money markets are for short-term, highly liquid debt securities, and capital markets for intermediate, long-term securities. And I have to rush in. I see I have 1 minute here. All right, so what? We know about money. We know about personal finance. We know that we have corporate finance and public finance. But why is it important? How is it important? We heard earlier about the unemployment rate that we have right now in Guyana among our young people. And so, money answers all things. But if prudent financial management is not done, then families, workplaces, public and private entities, and non-governmental entities will fail in achieving their objectives. For the person who's unemployed, then they can do what the rich dad said to their son. To their sons, say to their sons, let money work for you, don't work for money. So clearly what that dad was saying, don't look to be an employee, but look to earn your money by making money, by getting a business of your own. So, if you're a young person and you need money and you want to start a business of your own, you can start small. You can start as a sole trader. If you need further money, you don't necessarily have to go to the bank. You can actually take a partner, and the partner could help you with that. And from a partnership, you can actually become a private limited company and then a public limited company that is able to float its shares on the stock exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to recommend that in our homes, we teach our children that it's not sufficient to want to just have money. You need to let money work for you. Think about ways that you can create money, things that you can do, the good things, the things you are competent at, and let that be the impetus to generate funds of your own. Let them be employers. Let them do what the rich dad says to his child, his children. Money certainly will answer all things. Finance and management of it will make sure that it is utilized properly and satisfies every need and give us, I'm going to borrow your phrase, Finance Secretary, and give us all the good life. Thank you.